Hey folks, Spy here again. This is going to be an update to my original chicken coop video. It's about 5 months later now. Chickens have been in there for 3.5 or 4 months. We got them as chicks. They've pretty much reached maturity. Probably got about a month left for some of them. But so far the coop has been great. Didn't have any major predator problems, or haven't yet. Haven't had any problem with rain. No water's gotten into the hen house. It's remained very dry. Foundation's still solid. Nothing shifted. Everything seems to be working out pretty well. So we'll take a walk around and look at things and just give you an update. So as you can see, we've got 6 chickens. We've got ice bars, Morans, and campings, and some of them are across. Those 2 feed and watering containers have worked out pretty well so far. The coop has held up really nicely over the past 5 months. As I said, we didn't have any leaks, even with a couple small rains. It did get wet up front, as it had over the summer, but chickens didn't seem to mind at all. They still slept on that roost pole there outside, and really haven't spent much time in the hen house. They go in there periodically during the day. Not sure why, just to hang out inside for a little bit, I guess, but they spend most of their time out here underneath the hen house where the food and water is, or sitting on the lower roost pole, or that upper one that they sleep on. Even with about an inch of rain this past weekend, we didn't have any major flooding or any problems with flooding, really. Water will come down this hill, hit the top side of this board, and then usually infiltrate and go under the coop. Major problems we had with this coop so far has been rats and gophers. Gophers have been making tunnels underneath this thing for quite a while, which hasn't caused any problems yet, but I was getting a little worried about the integrity of the compacted ground that I put this thing on. A couple of the bricks that are holding up some of these vertical beams got dislodged, so they're no longer doing anything. So what I did to remedy that is I went ahead and put rocks around the entire coop. Big layer of rocks around the entire coop, so they stop making tunnel entrances up to the surface right next to the coop, and then hopefully that will discourage them from burrowing in those areas. No gophers have made it inside the coop because I put that hardware cloth down about 16 inches, 12 or 16 inches below the surface, so nobody's gotten in there, but it's just something that may become a problem in the future. And it will also allow water to go through those tunnels when we get big rains, and maybe make the inside of the coop a little more damp than it should be. So that was one problem. And we also had a problem with rats. We had big Norwegian rats that were burrowing underneath the chicken coop, moving these rocks. Actually, several times I came out here and these rocks, which are mostly baseball sized, were moved. And you could tell it was rats because of rat droppings. They chewed on some things, and it was just evident that we had rats coming in and trying to get in the coop and maybe eat the chicken feed. So that had to be dealt with. That was another reason for putting these rocks here. It seems to have stopped the rats for now, but we'll see what happens. That's going to be a tough issue to remedy. So those are the only real major issues we've had so far. As you can see, there's a lot more rocks around here than were in the last video. This whole side has rocks around it. Nothing's really moved here. I was a little worried that those pieces of rebar weren't going to be enough to hold this board up, but they've done pretty well so far. And that is redwood, so I expect it to rot a little slower than some other types of wood. As I mentioned before, the chickens spend most of their time on this pole here. This is their primary roosting spot. every night right about this time, or I should say every evening about this time, they start to line up on there, and that's where they spend most of their nights. They've only spent maybe a handful of nights in here inside the hen house on that pole, and I'm not really sure why. Even in the rain they slept out there, but haven't spent much time in here. So we'll take a look at the back here. As you may remember, this is the back of the chicken coop where the nesting boxes are. Two of the boxes have painted rocks in them right now to give the chickens a hint as to where they should lay their eggs. We're almost to 6 months old, so I'm expecting something relatively soon, so that's just done in preparation for that. Our door still works great. Still slides nice and easy after 6 months. Moisture and swelling hasn't appeared to do anything to the door, so that's good. And I did finish the window that I showed in the last video. I said I was going to put screen in there, which I did, and did finish painting the outside. The inside looks a little funky, but it functions just fine for the purpose. Everything else is pretty much the same in here. Still holding up nicely. No mold, no rot or anything on the ceiling or on the roof, so definitely happy to see that. The only thing that's changed really is that we've got some spider webs in here, some cobwebs, but that's just something for the chickens to eat, I guess. So here's the door that you guys saw in the last video before it was painted. Now it's painted. I painted it all brown just to be sort of low profile, but still works great. If you open it up, you can get into the hen house. There's your nesting boxes, there's the door, roosting pole. Then, as I showed from the back, there is a screen in it now. That attaches to the ceiling with a cabinet lock, which you can pull off and then pull it shut, and you have a screen window, so you can get in there and clean it out, or you can close the screen and let the chickens get some extra breeze. And you can still close the outer door whether or not the screen is open, just like that. Then if the chickens need some air, you can open this, leave the screen closed, and they're all nice and secure in there. And then if you want to get in there and clean it out, you just pop the screen up like that, and then you can get in there and do your work, and then you just close it up after that. Alright guys, well, that's about all I have to say for this video. There's my update for the chicken coop. It's starting to get dark and the chickens are headed up to the roost, and I'm headed inside. So as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, leave me any comments or questions, and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Alright.